Hello everyone, welcome to our last but not the least live session with our energy influencers. My name is Bita Parvin, and today I am moderating this session from Calgary, Canada. Today we are going to have a roundtable with young professionals who energize our industry. These young professionals have been selected as 2020 SPE The Way Ahead Energy Influencers. If you are not familiar with The Way Ahead and our mission, please visit our website as sp.org/TWA. The Way Ahead is a publication from young professional for young professional. Now let's have a brief introduction with our panelists. But before that, make sure to write your question in the comment box. We are going to go through them during our live session. Now let's start with our first panelist, Alejandro Lerza. Alejandro is a senior simulation engineer with Chevron. Hello, Alejandro. Welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Howdy, Vita. First of all, let me thank you, the SPE and the TWA for organizing all these and for the recognition. Also, my company, Chevron, for all the support they have provided to the SPE and me through many years. I'm delighted to be here, and thanks for the opportunity. My name is, as you say, Alejandro Lerza, but please, let's call me Ale. I go by that. I'm a reservoir engineer working for Chevron, where I started as an intern, and just recently had my 10th working anniversary, which I'm pretty excited about. I have worked on shore and offshore oil and gas reservoirs in both conventional and unconventional formations with within multiple countries. My path on the SPE started when I joined the student chapter while doing my bachelor, and after that, I never left it. So SPE has been like a life path for me, and I really like it. On the technical side, I hold a bachelor and master in petroleum engineer and a specialization in gas business management, another master in data analytics from Texas A&M. Whoop! And I'm currently an executive 2020 MBA candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, Ale. Congratulations on your 10th anniversary. So next, we have Nicole Tucker. Nicole is a project manager at Frodenberg Oil and Gas Technology. Hello, Nicole. Welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for the introduction, Vita. I'm calling from Houston, Texas this morning. Thank you to The Way Ahead and SPE for the recognition. A little bit about me. I am a proud graduate from Oklahoma State University, go Pokes, holding a bachelor's of science in chemical engineering, minor in petroleum engineering. I've also pursued some master's classes in subsea systems design from the University of Houston. By the way, they have a great program. I have been an active, proud member and volunteer of SPE since college. Just a side note, since I was 17. Frodenberg Oil and Gas Technologies has been my work home for a little over 2 years now. I've been instrumental in rapid development and testing capability service for our customers, which focuses on commercialization of new product lines related to next generation tool development projects. This venture has been a success since its launch in April, and I've been project managing successful key projects working with major OEMs and service providers across the industry. It has certainly been an exciting time in the last 2 years of learning and growth, both professionally and personally. So, I certainly thank my company, for to experience.
Thank you, Nicole, for joining the show. And finally, we have Wassem Alward. Wassem is a senior geoscientist with Schlumberger. Hello, Wassem. Welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Wassem, I think you are mute.
Thank you, Bita. I'm sorry. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the same panel with you, with Nicole and Alejandro. First, I want to thank the SPE for organizing the events, and I want to thank the Way Ahead for the Energy and Influencers Initiative. I have 10 years of industry experience working for Schlumberger as a geoscientist, and I am currently based in the Middle East, specifically in Iraq. I have about 5 years of experience in wireline interpretation and 5 years of experience in doing reservoir models, supporting all the type of software technologies that we do in Schlumberger.
Thank you for joining the show, Wassem. So now we are going to start with our first hot topic, which is digital transformation. But before that, again, make sure to write down your question in the comment box. We are going to go to the audience question during the show. So Alejandro, I see that you have an MSc in data analytics, a specialization in statistics, and another one in machine learning. So having all this experience and knowledge, what do you see the current status of our industry for digital transformation?
That's a great question, Vida. I feel passionate about this, and I'm going to do my best to compress the answer for everybody here. So digital transformation is basically the integration of digital technology into all of the areas of our business. So in a way, the oil industry, we have applied digital technology for centuries. Now, what our intention is to take it to the next level. So before we were talking about gauges, SCADA system, reservoir simulation, rod pump charts, etc. The main difference that I see now is the integration with machine learning technologies. Now, there is not enough to identify when, for example, a rod pump is going to fail. What we want to know is also understand why the rod pump failed, which is called descriptive analytics. But furthermore, we want also to know or be able to predict when it's going to fail, which is called predictive analytics. With that way, we can always optimize the resources that we have, but also the economics of our projects, because we stop the downtime that we're having in multiple operations. This is just a simple example, but we can take this further. For example, we can talk about petrophysicists creating multi-mill models in days instead of months. Geoscientists getting seismic interpretations in, I'm talking about days instead of months again. So these kind of technologies are the ones that are going to allow us to bring the reservoir engineering and even the oil industry itself to the next level. So in a short summary, I believe the energy industry is not exempt from Mother Nature's law, where you either evolve or perish. And just for the record, we are here to evolve, not to perish. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your explanation. So, Wassem, I see that you are a board member for SPE Digital Energy. So tell us about this section and what are some topics that you're working on in that section for digital transformation?
So in SPE Digital Energy, our main objective really is about educating and informing the SPE community about the values, the business challenges, the opportunities with the digital transformation across the oil and gas industry. So we really cover a wide range of hot topics, things like the emerging hardware technology, things like permanent monitoring systems, downhole communication devices, intelligent completion, so things of that sort. But we also cover the digital transformation from software and system perspective. So things like AI, machine learning, data analytics, data management, and things of that sort. And lastly, we cover a very important aspect, which is the human factors and the organizational culture that is influenced by the introduction of these technologies. So we produce a quarterly newsletter that contains a lot of useful content about the technologies I just mentioned. And I recommend everyone to check it out on our website.
Thank you, Wassem. Your section is in the right time for today's needs. Thank you.
True. Thank you.
Thank you. And Nicole, I see that as a project manager, you are working in rapid prototype development. So how do you evaluate effect of digital transformation on technology development?
That's a great question. So prototyping and product development is, it's essential to in identifying and clarifying problems, developing ideas and opportunities, and in general is crucial, to better understand, the dynamics of the problem, product or system to ensure resources are invested in the right areas. If the goal is to be first to market with a new innovative product, the biggest evaluation of digital transformational technology is really in understanding what the value add is for the customer. In particular, what I've learned, from my, experience in my company is we evaluate digital transformation really in two categories. You've got, operational transformation, and then, the business, transformation. On the operational side, we look at how we can improve, internal processes to be more efficient, from, end to, end, in product development. Examples include, utilizing data analysis of, our internal processes, to utilizing, digital systems like bots, to make things, automated. For the business side, we look at how we integrate into our customers' processes and systems, and how we interface with the way they want to do developments with us. Additionally, extending product performance and how we integrate with, with customer design certification, and integrate with, customers, tooling. The additional thing, we also look like is, what that looks like as there's a push in the industry to consider, remote operations and technology. The one thing that differentiates, today's digital business and technologies from traditional, is time. And so, to meet those market expectations, everything has to happen in an accelerated pace. So the focus, has to evolve from periodic processes and mindsets to continuous process and mindsets. Customers are wanting to rapidly innovate beyond the product, around, customer layers. They want to deliver, a real competitive advantage. This is, what, digital transformation really has the ability to do. And as I've understood our customers' needs more, and what they find of value to them in our RPDC process, the business, we got to consider, the business must be considered, case as well. So when it comes to technology, companies really look at in three ways, improve, what's existing, understanding the customer's needs and improving relations, and then essentially, on into changing the way, people do business.
Very interesting discussion about the customer point of view, especially about remote operation. Thank you. So thank you all for your insight about digital transformation. And now I'm going to go through one of the questions from the audience. So the question is that how do we leverage unstructured data to enrich geoscience knowledge? So Alejandro, what do you think about this question? How do you comment on that? Alejandro, I believe we cannot hear you. Can you check?
I'm so sorry. I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Oh, man. I just finished my answer. No. Let's do this. So when we talk, just for the audience itself, probably not everybody is familiar with the terms that we're discussing here. When we say unstructured data, is data that hasn't been formatted. Means that you don't have a table or a kind of a structure where you can read the observation one has these attributes, etc., etc. So, for example, seismic, at some point, we can take it as structured or as unstructured if we want to. Other one can be images. It's a image logs, for example, I kind of unstructured data that we could use and leverage. How to do that? There are a couple of companies that I can refer to the links that they are working on it. They have interesting projects. One of them is trying to use the results of image logs to populate what we call discrete fractal models. The discrete fractal models are important in unconventional networks, and that's just a simple example that we could use. I would like to refer to more links to the person that is answering, so she can or he can get more information about this. But yeah, there are different opportunities that different service companies are leveraging right now to take advantage of this data that is not being used in the same way today.
Thank you, Alejandro, for your explanation. Thank you. So interestingly, we are in a very interesting era for digital transformation right now. So Nicole, I see that you had an instrumental role in launching the SB Gulf Coast section Women in Energy 2019 Congress. So talking about women in energy, tell us about the trend setting for women in the current oil and gas industry.
Well, I can tell you this, as far as trend setting goes, I'm certainly not an expert other than I'm a female working in the oil and gas industry. Now, having said that, yes, I have really enjoyed, launching, the SP Women in Energy program. It's certainly been an education in itself. One of the things, that I think is really important, that as industry undergoes rapid change, including female participation, from entry level, to, executives, positions. We need to make sure, there's a need to incorporate new skills, in advanced analytics, machine learning, robotics. There is great potential to both increase participation and realize the benefits. I think when companies, there's a drive to understand what the reasons for fall-offs, maybe in female participation are. Having said that, I think one of the important things to remember, just as a young female, in the oil and gas industry is, at the end of the day, I'm in charge of, my career. And so, things like, self, advocating, networking, and really making sure that I myself am not limiting myself, to the, possibilities that are out there, are important to consider.
Thank you, Nicole. So Nicole talked about the potential for women to enrich their skills, and it can be also through networking with both men and women. And Wassem and Alejandro, I see that you have more than a decade, 10 years of industry experience. So how do you see presence of women in industry today compared with a decade ago? So Alejandro, how do you see the difference now?
Wow, for me has been a drastic change. So just to put it in perspective, when I started studying petroleum engineering, the ratio of men to women, at least at the university, was probably 18-1, around that. So that was really low. So we didn't have enough female participation even at the university itself. Now I see that's changing dramatically. I visit university constantly for the ambassador program, and I see it's not 50-50, at least my observation. I don't see 50-50 yet, but I see a fair 60-40 right now. In the industry itself now, when you talk about the companies, at least within Chevron, I see at least at the base levels, getting to manager might be tougher because, you have a backload of people, so you got to get there. But the change has been at the base level, has been drastic. So I believe in Chevron, we're close to 50-50 right now in men to woman population, which is pretty good for oil and gas industry. And I think the trend is spreading around to all the other companies as well.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that now we are in a progression for having more women in this industry. And Wassem, how do you see this trend? We cannot hear you, Wassem.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think that the gender diversity in the energy sector has improved in the last 10 years. I can tell you, being in the Middle East, which is a very conservative society, I still remember when I joined the industry right out of college 10 years ago, there were only few females in the workplace and mostly in office-based jobs. But I see this trend has changed in recent years. So I have seen an increase in the number of females occupying important technical roles, management roles, field-based roles as well. And I've seen also an increase in the initiatives that that getting carried out at a corporate level to have more gender balance initiative to build more inclusive work environment for females. But looking at the statistics that we have right now, we made some progress, but there is still a lot of work need to be done to have more female representation in the industry, not only in terms of numbers, but also in terms of positions and high management and executive level as well.
Thank you, Wassem. So as we said, it is not only about the numbers, but also it is about the positions that women are taking in nowadays industry. So at this moment, I would like to thank all women and also supporting men who paved the path for having more women in this industry. Thank you. So we are going to go to our last topic. So considering current oil and gas situation, we need day-to-day effort for professional and technical development. Wassem, I see that as a member since 2012 for SPE, you volunteer with so many SPE activities. You were an e-mentor, competitor job, Petrobel quiz writing, and even a member of several SPE's committees. So thank you. Wassem, how do these activities can upskill young professionals?
Well, I think as a petroleum engineer, participating in the different SPE activities is an incredibly important for your learning and development, and not just technically, but professionally and personally as well. If you think about it, the SPE members are the driving force behind the SPE mission, which is to collect, disseminate, exchange knowledge, and provide opportunities. So participating in these events will help younger professionals improve leadership and communication skills, learn and contribute technically to different areas of interest, develop network, and most importantly, work and meet great people across the globe. So I benefited a lot from participating in SPE activities, and I encourage all the younger professionals to participate and share their time and knowledge with the SPE community.
Thank you, Wassem. So by attending or volunteering in this activity, we have some keyword of network, communication, and leadership skills. So on the other hand, Nicole, I see that you volunteer not only in SPE, but in non-profit volunteering activities. So how do these activities affect you and the society?
Well, I can tell you from the personal aspect of it, I got some advice early in my career, and that advice was to give more than you take. And I don't know, it resonated with me. And so on a personal level, to me, making sure that I'm giving back to the community in a meaningful way is really fulfilling. You know, it is one thing that never loses its value, regardless of the changes from market to market. You know, the ups and the downs. When you're when you're giving back to your communities, you can't help but have a positive impact there. I know for our company, we have an E2 initiative, and part of that initiative is a nonprofit organization that I just love, Literacy Now, and they you really support literacy for underserved communities here in Houston, and it is just a valuable thing when you think about how important education is, and just basic, just having literary skills. You can't go far in life without it. So having the opportunity to help, the younger generations that are going to come up after us, get what they need to to make it to the next level is something that I feel really personal about supporting. From the business aspect, I think it's simply corporately irresponsible not to. And I'm so proud to be able to be part of not only the company's initiative, but to be able to support other nonprofit organizations, outside of our E2 initiative. So yeah, kindness, giving back, those things don't lose their value.
Thank you. So giving back is not going to lose your value. Thank you for that sentence. And Alejandro, I see that you serve as a technical committee member in several conferences and also as an SB ambassador. So what are your motivation for all these involvement?
So I thank for the question. I think it's very important. And just going back to what Nicole said, I think SB gives you a lot. And throughout your career, you will learn. Probably everybody will feel how those benefits resonate with you and stay with you. So my point is, I just want to give back things that I have been lucky enough to receive. That's it. I mean, I have been lucky enough to receive good education, good experience, good learning. I just want to give it back so anybody else can benefit from the things that I have learned so far, if they're worth something for them. So that's all my intention.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. So now let's go and have a question from audience, which is related to the first topic that we discussed, which is how can young professionals upskill for the digital transformation? So Alejandro, maybe we are going to start with you.
Sure, no problem. So we are in 2020, and since the last 3 years, I would say 5, but the last 3, they ramp up the amount of knowledge that is around and what you can learn online. So you don't need to go. I mean, I did the academic path first, and then after getting solid basis, I went through online courses too. But you don't need to if you don't want to. There is tons of knowledge that you can get online. There are platforms like, for example, Coursera. I'm not trying to advertise for any platform in particular. Look for anyone you like. Just look for the content that you really enjoy, and be sure that finish. Probably the first 1 or 2 lessons might be tough for you, or you might think that this is not for me. Just hang there, because you will benefit from it. Just stay there, finish your course, and you will get it. I mean, it's very good. And after you get it once, this is gonna motivate you to get the second one and the third one again. So just hang there and do it. It's really, really easy. Just benefit from all this online, also free education that you can get. And this time is a very good opportunity, right? With the quarantine, etc., the downturn. So we have a perfect storm for you to use this time to learn and get better, get a skill that you didn't have before. And let me tell you, I mean, data analytics is something, digital itself, it's something that is going to stop being optional to be required. And I think that time is now. So we used to think, in the future. That future is today. So whatever you are not doing today, somebody else is doing it, and that person is going to be ahead of you. So just try to be there.
Thank you. So Wassem, you see that Alejandro talked about that we have so many free resources that we need to start, and also we need to finish them. So do you have any comment to complete Alejandro's comment?
So just to complement what Alejandro said, I think we live in a very special moment in time where there are so much online resources available for all the different kind of skills that you need. But I need to emphasize one thing, which is as we navigate the digital transformation, we should never forget that we are a very technical industry in nature. So we don't need to neglect the domain expertise. Domain expertise will be always there. You need to have a solid background, solid experience technically, and then you add on top of it whatever you can learn from all the online resources available. So I recommend all young professionals to really take advantage of the resources available, learn coding, learn machine learning, artificial intelligence, all the things that we talked about. But don't forget that it has to be added on top of a solid domain expertise that you have as a petroleum engineer or a geoscientist.
Thank you. So young professional, go there and use all those free resources. So before we conclude, all you panelists, what do you want to share with young professionals who are listening to encourage them, to motivate them to just progress in their path? So let's start with Nicole.
Yeah, so you are in charge of your career. Figure out who you are and what you want to do, and go do it. If you can't do it within the company you're in, that's okay. You know, find another. The thing is that there's plenty of opportunities, probably right where you are, to grow a lot of different skills. I would say networking is probably one of the most important skills that you can have. Network outside, but don't forget to network inside your own companies. I mean, that's important. Reach out, find mentors, and you don't need just one. I have several, and they all contribute in different ways to my professional, development. But keep in mind, mentors, unless you apply the advice that they're giving you, it's time that you're taking. So just make sure you're using you're using people's time wisely, and just be who you are. Go do your thing.
Thank you. So have mentor and network. Thank you. So Wassem, what is your advice for young professionals?
Well, I think they need to really take advantage of the available learning resources that we have right now. And I advise that at early stage in their careers, they need to focus on having as much different experiences as they can, and build a diverse portfolio set of skills that they can use to navigate the ongoing digital transformation and remain relevant moving forward.
Thank you, Wassem. Definitely having a diverse background and experience is going to be helpful for current oil and gas industry. And Alejandro, what's your final advice?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I think we are in a noble business. So we provide energy that enables human progress. Therefore, the oil industry, the energy industry itself, sometimes has a misunderstood impact that we're not seeing. And I believe this is important for everybody, especially our young guys, our young folks joining the industry, to know that if you work here, you're going to be enabling human progress. That's something novel to do. And don't get discouraged for the downturns, etc. It's like being a boxer, right? So every time they put you to the floor, the only thing you got to do is just stand up one more time at the times that you have been in the floor. That's all you need to do. So stand up and rise to the moment. This is your moment, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. This is definitely your moment, guys. Keep going. So at this moment, I would like to thank our panelists for their insight, and thank you for attending this session for your home. Our previous 2 live sessions are available in SB Live, both through LinkedIn and YouTube. Finally, I would like to thank Asha Rubles and Jason Notorres, who have worked behind the scene to bring us this SB Live today. Thank you again for being with us today, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well.